over the last few years, and it's from people who are able to buy homes. Now, what we see, though, inside of that is that while some of those people were able to buy it of their own accord, many of them were helped by their parents. That's great. I think there's nothing wrong with that. But what it does mean is that if you're not lucky enough to have and to come from some generational wealth, you're screwed. And so when we're in an average age of 56 years old, that is late stage Republic shit. 56 years old. If you're 56, you're 3 years away from being able to withdraw from your freaking Roth IRA. That's like, when you're 38, I mean, the average 38-year-old in the United States has like 2 children, and is married. Like, that's well into life. Maybe like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old or something like that. You're renting that entire time and amassing zero equity, and then now with a mortgage rate around 7%. I mean, this is the most stark stat that I've seen in a long time. When I read it, I honestly couldn't believe it. I go, 56 years old. Your life is mostly over at 56 years old when you're the average home buyer. That stat should be reversed. It should be 30 years old, something like that, for the average first-time buyer. And then, look, there are so many different policies in different areas. But this, by the way, will be a major test for the Trump administration, because if this does increase, you are going to see some crazy shit happen in 4 years. I just do not think that this is sustainable. We've had an exponential increase in the average age for the home buyer, in the average age for the first time. And if you keep things this accessible, if you think about that 35-year-old, and now it's currently the 38, they're going to be like in their mid-40s at the end of the Trump administration. And they're like, okay, I'm still not being able to afford a house. What are we doing here? I'm 10 years away from retirement.
Yeah.
Or at least retirement age, allegedly. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is where the abundance agenda people have a point, is like, because you need a variety of solutions. You do need a massive surge in building and, a surge of housing into the market. You need the government to be involved in that, because oftentimes, the housing units that are built are not geared towards affordability or even, first-time home buyers. So you need government involved in that. Potentially also something like what Kamala is proposing, assistance with that down payment for first-time home buyers, because that also is a real stumbling block for a lot of people. And you got to get permanent capital out of these markets. Like, it needs to go to human beings first. And that's not the only thing that's going on here, but the dramatic introduction of permanent capital into these markets, where they're buying up entire trailer parks, they're buying up entire neighborhoods, and pushing out regular homeowners and then renting them back to them. That also has to be dealt with. And then you've got the rental side of this too, with the collusion that has significantly raised rental prices, that continues to basically rob people. That's got to be dealt with as well. So there's a lot that needs to be done. But I think we have one more graphic we can show you guys to show the increase over time of homes bought all cash. And you can see in every single market that they list here over time, more and more and more of the sales are all cash. So number one, Naples, Florida. Now 60% of that market is all cash. If you don't have the money sitting in your bank account, or able to obtain with a loan against your stock market holdings or whatever from mom and dad, forget about it. Just crazy. Look at Augusta, Georgia there. Went from 23% all cash just in 2018. We're not talking about decades ago. 2018. That feels like a blink of an eye ago. To 42% now. Heading up towards a majority of the market. That's wild to see the way that trend has unfolded.
The whole thing is crazy, and if you look at all these places, unfortunately, these are a lot of places where a lot of Americans want to move too, right? So it means that the new people who are coming in are having a lot of difficulty. I just checked Naples, Florida. You can have a house anywhere from $4 million to $400,000, but that's a lot of money no matter what. In Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they have Winston, North Carolina there on the list. New Orleans, they have there on the list. Miami, Jacksonville, Augusta. All of these are places with huge net in-migration from across the country. It makes me also feel for some of the people.
That property insurance situation down in Florida may be changing the game there.
Certainly true.
In Miami in particular.
But, even looking around this, here in Washington, D.C., in the Georgetown neighborhood, one of the richest neighborhoods here in Washington, 67% of houses are being bought with all cash. You can't even buy a house there for less than $2 million.
Oh my
God. That's outrageous to me. I honestly can't believe it, even looking at it. Some of the places that I've lived in the past here in Washington are looking around 46, 47, 50, 60%. It's like, what are people supposed to do? You might as well be, you better be a damn good defense contractor to be able to
you better be selling your soul.
For real, though. And that's the other thing. Is
the reality.
This has major implications in terms of this has major implications too for choices that people make. So everyone's always talking about like, why don't the elite members of society pursue public service? It's like, well, debt is a huge part of it. I mean, I went to school with a lot of people who wanted to work in public service, and by and large, almost all of them are now corporate lawyers. And it's not because they want to, but you know, you rack up 200 grand in debt, 250, 300. You don't have a lot of choice. They don't even want to do it, but they have to.
Yeah.
And that story goes on forever. This is the same case with a lot of people who attend Harvard or Yale. You know, if you do so, you're looking at roughly $100,000 probably or so in student debt with no financial assistance. I think that's on the lower end. But again, like it makes sense why you go to McKinsey. Same with doctors. This is a major conversation in medicine. Everyone's decrying the fall of the family practice, of the people with a small practice and less patients. The reason why they go work at hospital guaranteed you cut paycheck, 400 grand a year, boom, I've got 300 grand in debt. I'm not taking a risk. I'm doing a small business, maybe when I'm 50. You know, it's one of those where all of these things have cascading effects throughout the US economy, and it's genuinely devastating for a lot of people out there. So if you were the 38-year-old and you still can't buy, I feel for you, man. That's devastating. I don't know how it would feel because you're the first generation to know with absolute certainty as an American citizen that you are worse off than your parents and even your grandparents who grew up in the boomer age. It's just crazy.
Yeah, so true.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.